Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here, and today for Listmas Day 5, we're going to be talking about my top 10 Intamin roller coasters. That's right, for the 5th day of Listmas, Parks Bros is giving to you my top 10 Intamin-made roller coasters throughout the world, at least the ones that I've been on. Now, I've been on a fair few Intamin-made roller coasters. However, I will say the first half of this list was very easy to put together, and I mean 1 to 5, maybe even 1 to 7. However, the bottom half of this list was pretty hard to put together because Intamin, taking as many risks as they do, doesn't end up with a near perfect coaster every single time, at least in my opinion. But without further ado, let's head to number 10. At number 10, we're going to head to Six Flags Magic Mountain for their tallest and fastest roller coaster in the park that goes forwards and backwards, depending on what track you're on. This is Superman Escape from Krypton that propels you to 100 miles an hour and up a tower that is 415 feet in the air. This thing is crazy. You really get to feel that immense speed, especially if you're going forward, but heck, even backward can make that possible. It just depends what type of jolt you want in the beginning, whether you get flung forward or back into your seat. They're both really cool experiences in my opinion. I think I might prefer the backwards just a little bit more, but I figured it had to make it in my list as it is one of the tallest rides I've ever been on, and it's currently operating. By the way, this list is for currently operating rides, so Top Thrill Dragster did not make the cut. But maybe Top Thrill 2 will, well, for a Zamperla list at least. Staying in Southern California for number 9, we're going to head to the Disneyland Resort for California Adventure Zone Incredicoaster, or at least as I grew up with it being California Screamin. This is the longest coaster in the world with a vertical loop, believe it or not, and while it doesn't give the most insane forces, it does offer a fun launch up to 55 miles an hour and quite a few little bits of airtime. The theming is really cool with the Incredibles being all around you on the track, with some really nice lighting elements and smells and sounds that you don't really get on any other coasters in California, especially not at this thrill level. It's a really fun ride and it's long enough that it feels like a 2-for-1. The reason it's down at number 9 is just because I prefer some of the more dynamic layouts that the other rides on this list offer. Speaking of which, at number 8, we have the only newly ridden coaster in 2023 for me, and that's Arctic Rescue, with one of the most dynamic layouts out there. It's their straddle coaster model, which makes you feel like you're riding a jet ski, or in this case, a snowmobile. This ride offers 3 different launches, as well as plenty of highly dynamic turns that just keeps you invested all the way till the brake run. There's little bits of theming and sound effects all over, and in my mind, every time I ride it, it just gets better and better. Heading all the way to Florida now, finally outside of California for number 7, we're going to the Universal Orlando Resort for Universal Studios Florida, and their highly immersive ride, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. Now, some people might disagree that this is a roller coaster, but taking only the roller coaster portion into account, alongside the insane theming, this is where the ride lands on my list. However, if we're just talking about the experience as a whole, I would say this is easily one of my top 5 rides of all time. The queue line is an experience in itself, but talking about the coaster portions, I don't want to spoil too much, but there is a lot of surprises with maybe some leaning side to side and a little bit of spinning. But this ride does an incredible job of immersing you down in the mines of Gringotts, and it is definitely worth the wait every single time you visit. Staying in Florida, this time going over to Busch Gardens, Tampa for their Intamin Blitz coaster, Cheetah Hunt. This thing surprised me in a lot of fun ways with its one inversion and multiple launches, as in my mind, it's Incredicoaster 2.0. It's super long, drawn out, has some really nice moments of theming, and of course that one inversion towards the middle of the ride. It adds in some of those cool turning moments like in Arctic Rescue, as well as being a glimpse into the more intense Intamins out there like Maverick. It's a really great ride in my mind, and one I would ride all the time if I lived nearby. It's smooth, it's graceful, but it has some of its rowdy moments, and it's a really great time all around. And super, super long. However, at number 5, we've got a very short ride, 22 seconds to be exact, and that's Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm. This ride has been plagued with issues as of late, but it finally reopened just a couple of months ago, and it's been so great to get back on it, as it goes from 0 to 82 miles an hour in 2.3 seconds. It is the fastest accelerating coaster on the West Coast, and boy do you feel it. Those 2.3 seconds are just filled with pure adrenaline, and it's truly one of the most incredible 2 seconds on any coaster out there. But to follow that up, you've got some amazing airtime off of the top hat and super powerful G-forces in those turns that makes that 22 seconds feel like a minute and a half sometimes. It's truly a remarkable ride in all ways, especially for only being 22 seconds long. Going back to Florida and going back to a ridiculously long in duration ride, we're going to Islands of Adventure for Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Who would have expected both of the Harry Potter coasters in Florida to be on this list? As this ride is kind of a cool combo of a lot of the things we've talked about prior. It's got a little bit of that straddle coaster, as the seating arrangement for Hagrid's is one motorbike seat and one sidecar. It's really cool. You get two different experiences in the same row. It's also got its fair share of surprises like Gringotts, as well as that crazy theming that we expect in the Harry Potter worlds. But it also offers some really great launch and turning elements like Arctic Rescue or Cheetah Hunt, and that crazy long ride duration like Incredicoaster. Again, I don't want to spoil this ride too much because there are a lot of incredible surprises in store, but it is, again, worth that wait at the end of the night especially. And if you're at Islands of Adventure, this is a must-ride attraction. Now in the top 3, we're officially making it into the all-out thrill category, as we're finally going to be heading to a state that's not California or Florida for an Intamin ride, and we're going up to Ohio for Cedar Point's own Millennium Force, the first ever Giga Coaster. 90 plus miles an hour, 310 feet tall with a 300-foot drop, and so much more. This iconic roller coaster broke so many records when it first opened in 2000 and offers a really great ride experience. Now, we know Intamin has two different sides to itself, the crazy and the drawn out, and this ride definitely fits in the more drawn out category. However, it does it at that 90 plus mile an hour speed for most of the layout, as it offers some great floater airtime moments and even a couple pops of ejector airtime in there too. The turns are all relatively forceful, but this ride is literally just about feeling that speed for as long as possible, and it does an absolutely perfect job at that. This is another ride I could just ride forever, as it's so graceful, so fun, but it does pack a little bit of a punch that keeps you completely invested. And man, oh man, I gotta say, I do miss it a lot. At number 2, we're actually gonna be staying at Cedar Point, believe it or not, as we're gonna head back towards Frontier Town to Maverick. Again, I was talking about how Intamin has two different flavors, the absolutely crazy or the drawn out. This is in the former category. Maverick starts out with an incline launch that leads you into a 95-degree drop. That's right, beyond vertical. To start, it puts you into some crazy lateral turns and then one of the best ejector airtime moments out there before throwing you into multiple 0G rolls and a 70-mile-an-hour launch after that. That's all before experiencing 2 stangle dives and just so many forces throwing you back and forth. It's ridiculous. If you want to feel completely out of control, this is the coaster for you, and it is by far, at least in my mind, the most intense coaster on this list. Heading back to Florida and Islands of Adventure for number 1, we're going to be riding Velocicoaster. This, outside of Arctic Rescue, is the newest roller coaster on this list, and it offers an amazing experience. It's got that Hagrid's level theming while offering some of the insanity that Maverick offers, as it gives a full experience while being a crazy thrill coaster. It is one of those rare rides that's able to dip its toes into each pool, as it throws you directly into the Velociraptor pen, before giving you a 70-mile-an-hour launch, a crazy tall top hat, and of course, to top it all off, the literal cherry on top, the Mosasaurus roll towards the end of the ride. Not only does this coaster offer my favorite inversion of all time, but it also offers some unforgettable experiences while knocking your socks off entirely with its thrill. It definitely stands atop this list by a tiny bit, and I can't wait to go back out to Florida and ride it again sometime soon. But with that said, thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Another day of Listmas in the books, no matter how late it is. And I'm curious, let me know your top 3 Intamin coasters down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so because we've got more Listmas videos upcoming. And actually, I'm going to be ranking my top 10 RMCs very, very soon. So stay tuned for that if you like me ranking the different coaster manufacturers. But again, I want to say thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you on the next ride.